Okay, in this video we're going to be dividing complex numbers. All right, so I have two complex numbers here, but the thing that makes this problem a little bit unique here is these denominators, the coefficients in that denominator there are fractions, which makes this entire thing with our coefficients here a complex fraction in and of itself. So the way we want to get rid of this 1/2 and the way we want to get rid of this 2/3 is to multiply through by the least common denominator. Looking at just the denominators there of 2 and 3, that's going to make my least common denominator a 6. So I'm going to multiply the top by a 6 and I'm going to multiply the bottom by a 6. It's going to be straight distributive property on both the top and the bottom here. All right, so that top one will just be a straight distributive property. We're going to have a 30 and then a plus a 60i. Okay, on the bottom, however, when we go to distribute there, the 6 times the 1/2 and the 6 times the 2/3, what that's going to do is that's going to eliminate the fractions. 1/2 times 6 is going to give me a 3 with the minus. A 2/3 times a 6 will give you the 4i. Now we're down to something that looks a little bit more normal for our dividing complex numbers. Okay, at this point, then you're going to do the traditional algorithm for that, which would be multiplying by the conjugate. So taking that denominator and changing the sign. So I'm going to be multiplying by a 3 plus a 4i over a 3 plus a 4i. Okay, now again, basically, you've got a binomial there on the top on both of those, so you're going to FOIL that out. You've got a binomial here on the bottom. You will basically FOIL that out. However, since that is the factored form of the difference of two squares, we're going to be able to do a little shortcut there on the multiplication and make it a little easier. Okay, so I'm going to come down here to do that. Let's go ahead and FOIL that top out. We're going to have a 90 and then a plus a 120i, and then we'll have a 180i, and then we're going to have that 240 and then an I squared for that last part of the FOIL. Okay, now shortcut on the bottom. All right, since this bottom here is the factored form of the difference of two squares, and we've got an I in here. All right, I squared being a -1, then we're going to be able to use a shortcut that is going to be take the first term, 3, and square it, put a plus sign in between there, and then take the 4, the coefficient that's sitting in front of the I, and square that. Okay, that's just a little shortcut trick. All right, the reason this is not a subtract, I did say that was the factored form of the difference of two squares. The reason that it is a plus instead of a minus is because that I times I squared will be a negative, so you're subtracting a negative, that's going to turn into a positive. All right, now let's go ahead and simplify this numerator. I've got some like terms here in the middle that I can put together. Also knowing that that I squared is a -1. Okay, that's really a -240 right there plus the 90. Okay, so we'll do some simplifying there. So we should end up then with a 90 minus a 240 is going to give me a -150. Putting the two I terms there together, that should give me a plus a 300i. Okay, going ahead and simplifying this on the bottom, you're going to have a 9 plus a 16, which is going to be a 25. All right, and then if we go ahead and do -150 divided by 25, that's going to give me a -6. And 300 divided by that 25 is going to give me a 12 as the coefficient in front of the I. So then there we have our simplified answered in a+bi form. So after multiplying through by that least common denominator right there, multiplying through there to get a problem then that looked like a normal dividing complex numbers, then it became a straightforward problem. Definitely thanks for watching. If the videos are helping, please share with your friends so they can benefit too, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.